Hello, this is Maitreyi Karnoor. I am the author of Sylvia Distant Avuncular Ends, published by Tranquebar Westland. I'm very happy to be a part of Attagalata's Ask the Author campaign. Over the last couple of weeks, readers were encouraged to ask me questions on social media, out of which I have chosen my three favorite questions and I'm going to answer them now. And the person who's asked my most favorite question will get a copy of my book, and the two runner-ups will get Attagalata t-shirts. So let's start with the third question first. It's by Charming Mind on Twitter, and the question is, how do you visualize different characters and build them as you write a book? Do you pick them from experience or imagine it completely? Thank you for the charming question. Well, it's a combination of both. If you are a quiet, observant person, you tend to notice traits in people, you tend to notice idiosyncrasies and things like that, and they stay with you. And when you sit down to visualize a character for a book, these things come to your mind. But not every character is exactly as somebody I've known or seen sometime in my past. It's a combination of perhaps several people, and it's also largely embellished with my own imagination. So that is the third question. The second question is by Sharmishta on Instagram, and the question is, what makes a good story? Where do you get your ideas uh, for your book? A good story is, well, simply put, a combination of the known and the unknown, I feel. It should be something relatable to the reader. They must feel that they recognize the character, that they understand the setting, they understand the feelings, emotions of the characters in the book, because they may have felt the same way or had the same thoughts. But at the same time, it must offer something brand new, something marvelous, something magical, something that the reader doesn't know yet. So it's a little like going on a journey in a familiar car, but the route you take is a new terrain altogether. The sights you see as you travel are brand new, but you're comfortable in the car that you're traveling in. So I think that is what a good story is. Well, it has to be written well, of course. Um, and my idea as well is the same as the last question that I answered. My ideas come from all around me. I'm a quiet person, so I suppose I absorb things every day, and they come out in the form of stories. And this is the winning question, my most favorite question. It's been asked by Mukammal Ajnabi on Instagram. And the question is, you have produced poetry, non-fiction and translations. What was the experience of working on a novel, and when do you know that it's not a draft anymore? Well, the experience of reading different yarns of literature, poetry, translation, prose, whatever, fiction, non-fiction, that varies. The experience of reading it varies. But for writing it, I don't think there's much of a difference, because ultimately it's sitting down and writing it. But the difference is definitely in the time and the length each one takes. When a poem comes to me, I sit down with it, I jot down my thoughts, and then I structure it, craft it, edit it, and that's it. I'm done with it. I usually take, well, it stays in my mind for a few hours, perhaps a day at the most. I visit it a few times, and then maybe make changes. But that's it. After that, I move on to something else. The poem is done. It's gone from my mind into my computer, and that's it. Whereas for a novel, you have to stay with it for weeks, months, years, even depending on the length of it, because it just completely occupies your mind at all times. You can't think of anything else. And as for translation, I have always maintained that translation is creative writing, where the plot is given to you. The plot is in the original version of the work that you're working with. and you have to flesh it out with your own words in the language that you have chosen. So, um, in a way, translation has kind of proved to be my training wheels for writing fiction, um, because it's been an intense experience in playing with words, playing with language. It's given me a certain kind of comfort and dexterity with words. um, the only difference here is I had to provide the plot, the idea, also myself, and then I translate those thoughts in my head into words on paper. And when a draft, well, okay, I don't actually make several drafts. I write pretty fast. I write it down and then I go back and fix errors, give it a few rounds of proofreading, make changes, and then I let it be. I put it aside. I sleep on it for a few days, and then I go back, and then I sometimes feel like tweaking it a little bit or changing an idea, or even a setting or whatever, and that's it. I do it, and any changes I make are on the same draft, and I just keep saving that file. So it is always, every draft is a work in progress, and then I'm done with it when I move on. So that's my answer. Congratulations to all the winners. Thank you for these wonderful questions, and hope you enjoy reading Sylvia. Thank you, Attagalata. Thank you, Westland. Bye.